doing this from my iPad, but theoretically this should work, so let me know if anything weird happens.
Okay.
Alright, we're ready to get started?
Again?
Alright, first thing I want to do before we get started is
Nothing.
Dave. Alright, buddy, do this. Buddy. Don't go there yet. Foreshadow a little bit. What else? Money?
I don't know.
X. Part of it. So stupid up there.
Is it really stupid? I feel like it is.
It's not stupid in the sense that you should know about it. It is stupid in the sense that you're not going to be very happy.
This is about like how I've already got mad because of my taxes.
Well, I'm going to teach you the good parts, like tax deductions, tax credits, that stuff we're going to talk about in this section. So ways to make your income smaller than it actually is so you get taxed less. And ways to get credit so the government will consistently pay less taxes. Alright, anything else? Money, taxes, stupid, what else? It can be difficult to understand. One thing that can be super difficult to understand is what Holt was getting at. How many of you know the largest debt holder of the United States? The United States. The United States government owns 63% of the debt of the United States government. That's economic. China owns about 8%, Japan owns about 6%, United Kingdom owns about 1%. Then there's another 2% international investors. Anybody have a savings bond? Wait, know what a savings bond is? They do still exist. They're actually one of the largest source of revenues for securities. They do pay a good interest rate, like 20 years.
Right.
I got it like the day I was born. I got it from you. We're really popular. I got a few of them. I still haven't cashed them in, so maybe they're fully mature. Everyone loves it. That's fun. Just saying. Anything else anybody wants to add on here?
No.
All right. So I'm going to get started. This is macroeconomics, meaning very big. This is big level economics. Taxes, government funding. Guess what? Okay. Okay. But first, we're going to start with a video. How many of you ever seen Jerry Maguire?
No.
You guys know what this is?
No. Is there sound involved?
Kind of.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't even know what's going on there.
Seeing people dance.
Anybody?
Nope.
What do you think he's saying? He is a sports agent. What do you think he's saying? What? do you think he's saying? He's saying, show me the money. He's saying, show me the money comes from this movie. And economics is all about money. All about money. I'm working on something and I haven't ironed it out. All right. So, taxes. Ben Franklin, very famous saying, in this world, there are two things you must do that are unavoidable. One is that technology is always going to fail. You have to die, and you have to pay taxes. Death and taxes.
What if you just die and you don't think on for your mind? I don't want to be
Die and
involved.
what?
I don't want to be involved. I want to be like buried as soon as possible.
The thing they have this container. But you have to pay taxes. You have to die. All right. So first thing I want to talk about here is income tax. Talked about this a little bit, but income tax is the single largest source of revenue for the federal government. Somebody tell me what revenue means. Making money. So individual income tax, or the government taxing your wages, is the single largest source of income for the federal government that we have.
Getting smaller as you add stuff.
That's why I'm trying to do it this way so that So what are taxes? Well, officially by definitions, it can vary. They are payments made by individuals and businesses to support the activities of government. This includes all kinds of taxes: income taxes, sales taxes, estate taxes. How many of you know what an estate tax is? Estate tax. And you get 60% of their house. So if your parent dies, they want to leave you a bunch of money. That gets taxed at like 40%. So you get 60% of whatever your parents are. It can be pretty frustrating. There are some limits. $2 million is usually the maximum for there. How do they know? If you spend X amount of dollars above your allotted income, they'll audit you. And if they find that you had an external source of income that didn't report on the taxes, then they can actually get you jail for tax fraud. How do they know what you spend money on? So you claim things such as like your vehicle registration. Here, it's on the vehicle you have. So, I mean, there are certain things you can do to disguise it, but actually, one of the most famous criminals of all time got caught for tax evasion. All the things he did. There's a picture about him we're going to talk about. All right? So the federal income tax is levied on a person's taxable income, or the total income of an individual, minus deductions and exemptions. So, let's say you made $50,000. Okay? This is just above average. Okay? Just above average. So your total taxable income could be $50,000, right? But let's say you spend $10,000 a year in health insurance. Okay? And let's say you spend $5,000 a year in retirement. Now now what is your taxable income? It drops you down a tax bracket. So you made 50,000, but a certain number of it went to health insurance. It goes to Social Security. It goes to Medicare. It goes to retirement. So all of those things that are taken out before taxes take away from your taxable income. So this is your actual income. This is your taxable
Income will highlight.
So you file taxes, it's going to ask you for this number. And then take W-2s from your employer. Have you ever seen a W-2 before? Okay, I have some. We're going to look at them in about a couple days. But it basically gives all of these numbers. They spend X amount of dollars on health insurance. They spend it on retirement. They spend it on an FSA. Learn about collective spending account for health insurance. All of those are tax deductible, meaning though the amount of money you spend on those can't be attributed to your total income. So instead of paying $50,000, which I believe is 24%, tax drop down $35, which is like 18.9% income tax. Does that make sense? Other things that will lower your taxable income, donations to charities, gifts. So there are some people where they donate $500 to a charity, and that deduction drops them down the tax bracket, and it actually makes them like $1,100. So it's all about paying attention to your money, where it's going, and where you fall on the tax bracket. And we're going to take a look at tax brackets in a second. So here's a few examples that I didn't talk about. Student loan interest. So money that you're paying on interest for student loans does not count as part of your income, or at least your taxable income. So let's say you spend another.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think I add about $1,200 a year in interest. Plus $1,200. That'd be another $1,200. So is that what you got? 33, 800. Okay. So paying interest on student loans is not a part of your taxable income. And everybody's favorite tax deduction, you. Dependents. Other people. Okay? But so there's a fine line between parents claiming you on their taxes because they have to, and parents claiming them on their taxes because it benefits them. So if you're under the age of 18 and you live with a parent or guardian, legally, if they want to claim you as a dependent, you are not allowed legally to file single. You are not allowed to file independent. If you can be claimed as a dependent if you're under the age of 18. Yes?
Okay. So say you got married and divorced and have kids.
Once you're married, you become the spouse. So if you don't work, or a husband or wife would be head of household if you would be dependent on them. But a spouse can't file independent. So if you're married, you can't be independent.
Okay. Okay, so say they got divorced and the papers say that they get to like that person files for the child, but they're not in the child's life. Can they still claim the child?
It depends on whether it's been ruled on in the court. So if the court says,
Because I know you have to have
if the
like
court
6
says,
months of taking care of that child to claim them, but if they have not fulfilled that at all,
well, it's the court system says you have full custody. You are the only one to allow to claim that child as independent.
okay, so if you're
Here.
have full custody and they lost their rights of custody for the child, they can't
But
claim.
if you accept child support, that is considered financially supporting a child,
Even without taking
without them
care
being
of them.
directly involved, and they can't claim.
They
as
can't.
independent if they pay child support.
What if they have, what if child support hasn't been fully established?
long as you've been granted full custody. If you have not been granted full custody, then it turns into a sort of he said, she said
What
type
if
deal.
you never were married to the?
Then it's the person on the
birth
birth
certificate.
certificate.
So if the other parent is on the birth certificate, you can't claim.
Correct. And unless it is legally defined that he is father.
By a
and
fraternity.
they
Trust.
that doesn't even need to be paternity. Legal adoption. If you legally adopt a child and get divorced. Does that answer your question? Okay. So dependent, a person who depends primarily on another person. If you're 18 years old and you have been 18 for longer than 6 months of a calendar year, so if you turned 18 in June of 2015, you can claim dependent regardless of your parents' desire. Yes?
What if like, okay, so last year my dad didn't live with me and he lived in Mount Vernon, and I lived in Springfield and I worked in
What is your legal address on your driver's license?
One over there. Springfield.
That is the legal address. Are you on his health insurance?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to make sure.
All right. Income taxes are progressive, meaning the more you earn, the more you pay. The more you earn, the more you pay. We talked about this a little bit at another point in the year. I'll let you get that typed down. Then I've got a picture up here I want you to take a look at for a second. It is the tax brackets that are currently in place for the United States government. Right? So these are federal income taxes. You are responsible to pay state income taxes on top of this. Okay, so this does not include state income tax, Social Security, Medicare, local income tax, property taxes, school taxes, state taxes, excise taxes, or sales tax. Okay? This is typically one. Excise taxes, liquor, cigarettes, gas. All right. So take a look here. If you are single and not married, far left category. Married, filing jointly, which means you're filing as your incomes as one income, both of you. And then head of household, which means you are the main wage earner and maybe your spouse doesn't have a job. Okay? Even if you're married, one of you can still file head of household too. Okay? You can also file married separately, but your deductions split. So only one of your parents will be able to pay. Can't both be double. All right. So 10% if you make $0 to $9,275, unless you are a minor, and that number is 0% as long as you make less than $6,000. So if you make less than $6,000 a year, you get 100% of your federal income tax back. If you make more than $6,000, regardless of your age, pay 10%, and you don't get it back. Unless you're under the age of 60. So, it's a catch-22. Do I not make money that I need, so that I get all my tax money back? Or do I work more, make the money I need, to have to potentially end up paying taxes at the end of the year? It happens quite a bit. Okay? It happens quite a bit. 15% up to 37.65. So in this scenario over here, in this category, 25% up to 91,000, 28%, 33%, 35%, 39.6% on anything over $15,000. Okay?
So dumb. That is so dumb.
415,000 is nice. So, what is that? 415 and $50. So let's divide that by. So we're looking at about $265,000 after taxes. But please do not forget, that's without all the other taxes that I listed. The taxes, Social Medicare, excise, sales, income tax, capital gains tax. Okay? So it's going to be closer to 200, maybe low, of the money that you actually spend. So over 50% of your income is going to be taxes you make. How much money you don't make. There's only one state in the United States that does not charge income tax. That's the state. Texas. Texas. Okay? So school taxes are paid for with property taxes and local. We have no property. Casinos also contribute. So, here's something I was complaining about taxes. Everybody's complaining about taxes. Return, or lack of return, or size of the return, the deduction. Credits are far less common and only used by individuals. But legally, they have to be mailed by January 31st of the subsequent year. So your 2015 W-2s, W-4s, 1099, whatever, have to be sent in the mail, postmarked January 31st. Should have them already. I've already got my tax return. It was in 2014. So Denise is probably going to have to pay a big fine, and he's going to have to file an extension. Unless Wendy's has filed an extension as a corporation, then they're.
Might have had to be. It depends on like, because the Wendy's you guys actually worked for is like part of my corporate stuff. Did he quit within like, if he quit like when Adam quit, his paper is actually at like his W-2 was going to like the corporate stuff or whatever, and then because I told Adam about it, and then I had to ask my manager why his wasn't there because I was telling him get it, but it's not there. But it's because corporate. He's calling the store. I don't know if he's calling. They don't sort of have it. It's corporate like down in like Dublin, I think. Who would have to call? His quitting stuff went through there, not through. Like it's still there up in Dublin, like they're all. So I guess. Yeah.
All right, taxes continued. Everybody know the day. Taxes are due every year. April 15th. Coincidentally, I don't know. What's really weird is I have 4 family members whose birthday. A little unfair, my mom's a twin, so one her twin sister. Then I have a cousin and an uncle on the opposite side. They're all born in April. So, pretty weird. It's okay. We got one. Yeah. Yes. Really? Yeah. Yeah. It's in Carissa. Turn around, open the cabinet. See that up top, floor light?
She said. Oh my god.
Alright.
Yeah, man, it's just so funny to me.
All right, so here is what we all know, but we don't necessarily know why. So throughout the year, employers withhold a certain amount of money so that they can pay your estimated amount of taxes for you. So that when April 15th rolls around, you don't have to cut a check for $12,000 to the federal government. Okay? This is where tax returns come from. It's estimated. So they estimate the amount of taxes. When the year's over, all said and done, then we find exactly how much it is, and if it made more, get money back. If it made less, you owe money. It is just as common for somebody to owe money to the federal government as it is to get a return. So here's where it's weird. If your income tax is over X dollars, so let's say on that bracket, let's say I got a $5,000 income tax return. That would jump me up to $38,800. Once we down the bracket, means I'm going to have to pay more, so I'm going to have money taken out of that $5,000. I know it's weird when ladies take money out, not exactly how you give the $5,000. You're going to put your income here, so after you get your $5,000 income tax return, they're going to send you a bill for the additional tax that you owe for going up a tax bracket. And then the following year, the amount of money that's taken out of your taxes will be estimated on that higher tax bracket rather than the lower tax bracket. Does that make sense? Let me rephrase that. Do you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense, and I understand. But do you understand what I'm saying? Okay? Nothing that happens with taxes is clear cut. It's about as clear as mud is. Right? You can't see through it about this far from your face. You really don't know what you're looking at. Okay? That's taxes in a nutshell. Okay? So, or you just fill in the boxes with the numbers. Right? TurboTax is pretty good. I know enough, so I use TurboTax, and then I gotta double check something they're doing. So it's a little different if there's somebody who's using TurboTax and had no idea what was going on. Okay, which it's not a big deal if you don't have deductions, credits, loans, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so it's just that. There's nothing better. That's it. So this concept of your employer holding some of your money to pay your taxes. How's that?
That's perfect.
This is known as withholding. So sometimes some employers on your pay stub put amount withholding, which just means they're holding X amount of dollars to pay your income taxes for you. So again, at the end of the year, you want to make money. But how many of you ever want to own your own business? Okay, possibly, maybe. It's different if you're self-employed. They do it quarterly instead of every month or every pay. We'll talk about it in a minute. But you do that so you pay, it's a larger sum, you only pay it every 3 months. But you don't have to pay it every 12 months. Okay? So if you're a business, you make $1 million, at the end of the year, you're going to have to pay the federal government $396,000. Split it up quarterly, you're going to owe about $100 every 3 months, which is a little more manageable in terms of income, because your income can fluctuate from 3 months to 3 months. The golf course makes a ton of money in the spring, summer, and fall. They make like this much money in the winter, because they pay a lot less taxes in the winter than if they were to just pay one lump sum. Self-employment's a little different, and we're gonna talk about that right now. Okay? Now, the way these quarterly payments work is you estimate the amount of money you're going to make for that next 3 months. Or, excuse me, you estimate what your income's going to be, you withhold that money, and at the end of the 3 months, you pay that, what it actually was. Does that make sense? And then the discrepancy, whether it's over or under, make up the difference, or you recoup the difference, so you can keep it. Okay? You pay the taxes on those estimates of your income each time. Then at the end of the quarter, you keep, or they'll send you a check for it if you pay it for it. Or you might have to pay it. The exact reason. When I was in high school, I owned, it was super small, but I had a lawn care business and a bunch of stuff, right? This is the exact reason that I don't own it anymore. Okay? It's very common. It's a lot of work. You own something, pay someone else to do this. Pay someone else to do this. Okay? Or at least get it to a point where you didn't think about things. Not making enough money, actually, it's not a choice. But that's the only offer I have for you that I know you're in business. Hire people to know what you're doing, what you're trying to do. Okay? Everybody's favorite three-letter word, the IRS. Stands for the Internal Revenue Service, and it's responsible for receiving and closing your returns. These are the people you send the federal income tax returns, whether it's through TurboTax, Integration Unlocked, or any of the other tax preparation services that are out there. So let's pause for a second so we understand what's happening. The employer pays you a wage. The employer pays you a wage. They keep a certain percentage of that to pay taxes. They pay that to the federal government. So the employer pays money to the government for your income tax. You keep what's left. Then at the end of the year, your employer is responsible for sending you a W-2 which says how much money you spend in taxes, how much you actually made gross and net, how much you spent on what, tax deductions, things like that. Then you are responsible for filing it in a 1040 form, block tax preparation before going to TurboTax, and you just answer questions and it plugs in the numbers for you. Okay? Then you send that off to the federal government, the IRS. The IRS looks at it, says, okay, these look pretty good, got you a check, or they make you send them a check. You're done. People that work for the IRS. IRS. Yeah. If you remember right at the beginning, income taxes are the single largest source of revenue for the government. That's what the IRS is. They are the okay, brace yourselves. Ready? The IRS is not subject to federal law as far as turning over. They don't have to say it because they are. Yeah. Now we're starting to understand. The IRS is the government, and the government doesn't have to say you made X amount of dollars on income. It simply gets rolled over into a fund, general fund, pays for roads or salaries of Congress members and things like that. Anybody know how much money is collected in the IRS a year on average? This is from 2012, so it's changed a little bit. $700 billion. We don't have $1 billion. All right. Last thing we're going to get through today: the IRS may audit individuals to ensure validity, to make sure that what is on them is true, or to investigate suspected criminals violating tax laws. Okay. They suspect you of crime. For example, Al Capone was audited 14 consecutive years. Okay, Al Capone, very famous mobster, responsible for hundreds of deaths. about 21 personally at his hands. Okay? He spent 11 years in jail before he passed away of neurosyphilis. It is a sexually transmitted disease that infects your
Oh,
brain.
anyone
It makes you go crazy. Yeah. Yeah, he got released on parole because he was crazy. Stop, both. If you're curious. He was released on what is now called, basically, if you're clinically insane and there's really no hope for you, and it's gross. A horrible thing to do, but they basically just say, yeah, you don't have anywhere to go, any family to go, you live on the streets. On that note, have a good day. Good weekend. You ready?
Oh, I'm so tired, man. Like, I need a babysitter.
Okay, go. Still there, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay. Get everything okay?